He looked around the hall. Not because we were stronger, because we were smarter, because we adapted, because we turned our weaknesses into strengths. The implications sank in slowly. Every alien in the hall began to understand what they had really witnessed. Colonel Su-Jin Choi stepped forward to deliver the final lesson. "You brought your best warriors," she said. "Genetically perfect soldiers with advanced technology. You thought this would be easy." She smiled coldly. "But you made the same mistake every predator on Earth made when they first encountered humans. You looked at us and saw prey." The screen showed the final moments of the war games. Human soldiers standing victorious while alien warriors sat defeated and confused. "The truth is simple," Colonel Choi said. "Humans are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the fastest or the most advanced. But we are the most dangerous." "Why?" asked Princess Zara-El, her crystal body dim with shock. "Because we do not look dangerous," Colonel Choi replied. "Every other species in the galaxy evolved to appear threatening. Humans evolved to appear harmless until the moment we strike." Admiral Kim returned to the platform for his closing words. "You invited Earth to these war games to humiliate us, to show the galaxy that humans are weak and primitive." He looked at each alien delegation in turn. "Instead, you have taught the galaxy something else. You have shown them that the most dangerous enemy is the one that does not look like an enemy at all." The silence in the hall was complete. Then, slowly, General Vextar stood up. The 8-foot giant looked down at Admiral Kim and did something that shocked everyone. He bowed. "Admiral Kim," Vextar said, his voice heavy with respect, "the Dominion hegemony formally requests military training exchange with Earth." One by one, other alien commanders stood. Colonel Thrixon clicked his agreement. Commander Kellen hissed his respect. Princess Zara-El's crystal body glowed with admiration. "We wish to learn," Thrixon said. "Our technology is advanced, but our thinking is limited." "Teach us," Kellen added. "Show us how to fight wars we have never imagined." Admiral Kim nodded graciously. Earth would be honored to share knowledge with our galactic neighbors. Over the following months, the galaxy changed. Human military advisors were invited to every major world. Alien species began studying Earth's history, not for its technology, but for its tactics. The Galactic Military Academy added new courses: adaptive strategy, psychological warfare, and environmental combat, all taught by human instructors. Captain Min-Ho An found himself training apex warriors in unconventional tactics. These perfect soldiers learned to fight with simple weapons and basic equipment. They discovered that limitations could be liberating. Du Hyun Nam taught alien snipers that patience was more important than advanced scopes. Yuri Lim showed alien warriors that size and strength mattered less than speed and intelligence. Most importantly, Earth's military doctrine became required study across the galaxy. Victory belongs not to the strong, but to the adaptable. The species that had crawled through mud to become apex predators had taught the galaxy a new way to think about war. And in the depths of space, other civilizations heard the stories. They learned that humanity looked weak but fought like nothing else in existence. Some planned to test this for themselves. They would learn the same lesson the Galactic Defense Coalition had learned. Never underestimate the species that looks like prey but hunts like a predator. The galaxy had found its new teachers, and those teachers had once been mocked for crawling through mud. The Great Hall of Nexus Prime was silent. 3 months ago, this same room had echoed with laughter as aliens mocked Earth's soldiers. Now, those same aliens sat in stunned quiet as they watched the final moments of the war games. On the massive screens, human soldiers stood guard at all 3 objectives. 12 ordinary-looking people had defeated hundreds of the galaxy's finest warriors. The impossible had happened. Admiral Hyun-Soo Kim walked slowly to the speaking platform. His black uniform looked the same as before, but everything else had changed. The aliens no longer saw a representative of a weak species. They saw something they had never expected to see. They saw a predator. "People of the galaxy," Admiral Kim began, his voice calm and steady. The war games have concluded. Earth's team has successfully captured and held all strategic objectives. The silence stretched on. No one knew what to say. General Vextar sat in his chair like a broken statue. His perfect apex warriors had been defeated by humans using weapons that belonged in a museum. His genetic superiority had meant nothing against human cunning. Colonel Thrixon's compound eyes stared at the screens. His calculating mind could not process what had happened. The prime drones were designed to be perfect. They were not supposed to lose to anything, especially not to primitive humans. Commander Kellen's golden scales had lost their shine. His scale guard were the best hunters in the galaxy, but they had been hunted instead. The shame burned worse than his wounded shoulder. Admiral Kim continued speaking. You mocked our Navy SEALs for crawling through mud. You laughed at soldiers who looked weak and used simple weapons. But you failed to understand something important about humans. He pressed a button on his remote. The screen changed to show new footage. This time it was not old training videos. It was recordings from the war games. The footage showed Do Hyun, Nam moving through the mountains like a ghost. His simple rifle and basic equipment made him invisible to advanced sensors. He appeared and disappeared like smoke, striking from impossible distances. You see primitive weapons, Admiral Kim said. We see tools that have been perfected over thousands of years. A human sniper does not need energy weapons when bullets work perfectly well. The next video showed Yoonbi Song creating her tunnel network. Her basic explosives looked simple, but they were placed with mathematical precision. Every blast served multiple purposes, creating paths, blocking enemy movement, and causing psychological effects. You see crude explosives, Admiral Kim continued. We see creative problem-solving. Humans learned long ago that the best weapon is often the one your enemy does not expect. More footage appeared. Yuri Lim moved through alien formations like water flowing around rocks. She was small and seemed harmless, but she struck with deadly precision. Her combat knife found weak points that energy shields could not protect. You see a small, weak female, Admiral Kim said. We see a warrior who has trained her entire life to turn size and speed into advantages. Human women have been fighting alongside human men for centuries. We learned not to underestimate anyone. The footage continued with Wu Jin Kang using the moon's environment as a weapon. Animals, weather, terrain, everything became part of his arsenal. He turned the battlefield itself against the alien forces. You see a medic with simple supplies, Admiral Kim explained. We see someone who understands that the greatest weapon is knowledge. Know your environment, know your enemy, know yourself. Finally, the screen showed the coordination between all team members. They moved like separate parts of one organism. When one needed help, others provided it instantly. When plans changed, they adapted without missing a beat. You see individuals working together, Admiral Kim said. We see the result of millions of years of evolution. Humans are pack hunters. We survived on Earth not by being the strongest, but by being the most cooperative. Captain Jiwon Park stepped forward to present the detailed analysis. She had been silent during the mockery 3 months ago. Now she spoke with quiet authority. The battle records show interesting patterns, she began. Every alien team fought according to their species' natural advantages. The apex warriors used brute force. The prime drones used perfect coordination. The scale guard used stealth and superior senses. She paused, looking around the silent hall. These are all excellent strategies. They work perfectly against enemies who fight the same way. The screen showed tactical diagrams of the battles. But humans do not fight like any other species. We are persistence hunters. We do not try to be stronger than our prey. We make our prey weaker. The diagrams illustrated how the human team had systematically destroyed alien confidence and coordination. Every false trail, every fake signal, every misdirection had been carefully planned. For 2 days you thought we were hiding, Captain Park continued. We were actually hunting. We studied your movements, your patterns, your psychology. We learned how you think and used that knowledge against you. General Vextar finally found his voice. But why? He asked. Why do humans fight so strangely? Taemin Lee stood up from the Earth delegation. The former Navy SEAL had remained silent during the initial mockery. Now he spoke with the voice of experience. "Because we had to," he said simply. "Earth is a dangerous world. Every other species on our planet was bigger, stronger, faster, or more deadly than humans. We should have gone extinct." He walked to the center of the hall. "But we did not die out. Instead, we became the apex predators of our world. Do you know how?" The aliens waited for his answer. "We cheated," Taman said with a slight smile. "We used tools when other animals used claws. We used fire when they used fur. We used teamwork when they hunted alone. We used our brains when they used instinct." The screen showed images from Earth's history, human hunters tracking massive animals across frozen plains, human tribes working together to bring down creatures 10 times their size. "Every species that ever lived on Earth was more dangerous than humans," Taman continued. "Saber-toothed cats, cave bears, giant wolves, all of them are extinct now. Humans killed them all." "Requesting additional units," Thrixon transmitted. "Negative," came the reply from command. "Use only assigned forces." The prime drones were designed for perfect coordination, but that was their weakness. When Yuri destroyed their communication nodes, they became confused. When Wu Jin's animals disrupted their sensors, they made mistakes. Worst of all, the humans kept changing tactics. Just when the drones calculated a response to one strategy, the humans switched to something completely different. By noon on the third day, something impossible was happening. The aliens still controlled the 3 objectives, but they were losing the war. Commander Kellen, wounded and angry, watched his scale guard make mistakes they had never made before. They were the perfect hunters, but they could not hunt prey that refused to be prey. "Sir," reported one of his warriors, "we tracked the humans to tunnel entrance 7. But when we arrived, we found our own warriors from tunnel entrance 12. "What do you mean?" Kellen demanded. "The humans led us in a circle, sir. We were hunting ourselves." Kellen finally understood. The humans were not just hiding from Saurian senses. They were using those senses against them. Every false trail, every fake scent, every misdirection was carefully planned. "They are not running from us," he whispered. "They are hurting us." That was when the real attack began. Captain Minho's voice came over all channels again. "Attention, alien forces, we are taking Objective Alpha in 10 minutes. We thought you should know." General Vextar laughed bitterly. "Impossible. My warriors surround the entire area." "Yes," Minho agreed. "They do." 9 minutes later, the humans struck all 3 objectives at once. Do-Hyun's sniper fire forced the scale guard to take cover in the mountain caves. But Yunbi's explosives had weakened the cave ceiling. When Hyunwoo triggered a small landslide, half the scale guard were trapped underground. At the same time, Yuri led a direct assault on the prime drones. But this was not a normal attack. She moved in patterns that confused their targeting systems. She attacked from directions their sensors said were empty. The drones tried to coordinate their response, but Woojin's animals were still creating chaos. Half their calculations were about forest creatures, not human soldiers. Most shocking of all, the humans took Objective Alpha by walking through the front door. Yunbi's tunnel system had connected to the building's basement. While Vextar's warriors watched for attacks from outside, the humans appeared inside the objective building. "Impossible," Vextar screamed as human soldiers secured the command center. "You cannot be here." "Why not?" asked Yuri as she held her knife to his throat. "You were watching the entrances. We made our own entrance." In 15 minutes, the humans controlled all 3 objectives. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as their greatest warriors were defeated by 12 humans with primitive weapons. Admiral Kim smiled as he watched from the command ship. "Now, they begin to understand," he said quietly. General Vextar, defeated and humiliated, asked the question everyone was thinking. "How? How did you do this?" Captain Minho removed his helmet and looked at the alien commander. "You fought the war you expected to fight," he said simply. "We fought the war that was actually happening." The education was complete. The galaxy had learned its first lesson about humanity. Never assume the prey cannot become the predator. The third day of the war games began with fog rolling across Kepler 400 C. The alien teams had spent 2 days fighting shadows and chasing ghosts. Their soldiers were tired. Their nerves were stretched thin. They still controlled all 3 objectives, but something felt wrong. General Vextar stood in the command center at Objective Alpha. His apex warriors were posted around the ruined city, but they kept looking over their shoulders. Every small noise made them raise their weapons. "Sir," reported one warrior, "the men are exhausted. They have not slept properly in 2 days." "Warriors do not need sleep," Vextar snapped. But even he felt the tension. Something was hunting them, but they could not see it. At Objective Bravo, Colonel Thrixon's prime drones were having calculation errors. Their perfect coordination was breaking down. Different drones were getting different sensor readings from the same locations. "System analysis complete," the drones reported. "All equipment functioning normally. Error source unknown." Thrixon clicked his mandibles in frustration. His robots were designed to be perfect. They were not supposed to make mistakes. In the mountain caves at Objective Charlie, Commander Kellen paced back and forth. His scale guard were the best hunters in the galaxy, but they could not find their prey. Worse, they were starting to hunt each other by mistake. "Commander," reported a scale guard, "I followed human scent for 6 hours. It led to Warrior Sikan. The human scent was covering our own soldier." Kellen hissed angrily. Someone was playing tricks with their senses. But who? How? That was when Captain Minho gave the signal. "All teams, this is Alpha Leader," he whispered into his radio. "Execute Phase 2. Show them what humans can do." The first strike came from Do-Hyun Nam. He had been moving through the mountains for 3 days, invisible to alien sensors. His simple rifle had no electronic signature. His basic camouflage looked like rocks and shadows. He was 2 miles away from Objective Charlie when he fired his first shot. The bullet was not aimed to kill. Do-Hyun aimed for Commander Kellen's left shoulder. The shot was perfect. The scale. Guard commander spun and fell, green blood flowing from his wound. "Sniper!" screamed the scale guard. "Commander is hit." They immediately formed a protective circle around their leader. Their advanced healing technology would save Kellen's life, but he was out of the fight. The scale guard began firing wildly into the mountains, trying to find the hidden shooter. Do-Hyun was already gone. He moved like smoke through the rocks, leaving no trail they could follow. "Location of sniper unknown," reported the scale guard. "Range estimated at over 2 miles. Kellen, bleeding but alive, could not believe it. "Impossible," he gasped. "No human weapon can shoot accurately at that distance." He was wrong. Human snipers had been making impossible shots for centuries. The second strike happened at Objective Alpha. Yoonbi Song had spent 3 days placing her simple explosives in exactly the right locations. She knew which buildings were weak. She knew where the sewers connected. She knew how sound traveled through the ruined city. Her bombs were small and basic, but they were placed with perfect precision. When they exploded, they did not destroy buildings. Instead, they created tunnels. "What was that?" Vextar demanded as explosions echoed through the city. His warriors searched the area but found only small holes in walls and floors. The damage seemed minor. They did not realize that Yoonbi had just created a hidden highway through the city. Now the humans could move anywhere without being seen. The third strike was at Objective Bravo. Woojin Kang had been studying the forest animals for 3 days. He knew exactly which chemicals would drive them into a panic. He mixed compounds from his medical kit and spread them around the prime drone positions. Suddenly, thousands of forest creatures went crazy. Birds attacked the drones from above. Small mammals ran through their formations. Insects swarmed their sensors. The animals were not dangerous, but they created chaos. "Initiating pest control protocols," the drones announced. They began shooting at animals instead of watching for real threats. That was when Yuri Lim struck. She moved through the confused drone formation like a dancer. Her combat knife found the weak points in their armor. She was too fast for their targeting systems, too unpredictable for their calculations. In 30 seconds, she destroyed 6 drones and vanished back into the forest. Multiple units down. The remaining drones reported. Enemy contact lost. They tried to track her, but Yuri fought nothing, like their combat programs expected. She did not follow military patterns. She moved like water and struck like lightning. The alien commanders suddenly realized they were not fighting an army. They were fighting something else entirely. Captain Minho coordinated the attacks from a hidden position in the cave systems. His team moved through Yunbi's tunnels, using Hyunwoo's knowledge of the terrain, guided by So Young's intelligence about enemy positions. "Bravo team, new targets marked," So Young whispered over the radio. She had been watching alien movements for 3 days. She knew their patterns better than they knew themselves. "Charlie team, wind direction changing," Hyunwoo reported. "Adjust. For scent masking." "Alpha team, clear shot on primary target." Do-hyun confirmed from his new position. The humans fought like no species the aliens had ever seen. Each human was an individual, but they worked together like parts of a single creature. When one team needed help, the others provided it instantly. More importantly, they did not fight like soldiers. They fought like hunters. General Vextar found himself losing warriors he could not afford to lose. Every time his apex warriors tried to chase the humans, they walked into traps. When they tried to hold defensive positions, snipers picked them off from impossible distances. "They are not fighting fair," Vextar roared into his radio. "Define fair," came Captain Minho's calm voice over the open channel. Vextar was shocked. The human was listening to their communications. "How are you intercepting our signals?" "We are not intercepting anything," Minho replied. "You are broadcasting on standard coalition frequencies. We are just listening." It was true. The aliens used encrypted military channels, but the encryption was designed to stop other aliens. Humans used completely different technology. Their simple radios could hear everything. Colonel Thrixon's drones were failing faster than he could understand. These robots were designed to fight armies, fleets, entire civilizations. They could not handle 12 humans who refused to fight like soldiers. The prime drones at Objective Bravo began experiencing sensor problems. Their instruments detected movement everywhere. Heat signatures appeared and disappeared. Electronic signals came from empty areas. Running diagnostic protocols, the drones announced. Their sensors were working perfectly, but something was confusing them. The drones began turning toward false readings. They pointed weapons at rocks and trees. "Sensor data is contradictory," they reported. "Probability calculations failing." The scale guard in the mountain caves faced different problems. Their enhanced senses were picking up too much information. Multiple scent trails led in different directions. Sound echoes made it impossible to locate enemies. Even their perfect vision was useless in the smoke that kept appearing in the tunnels. "Commander," reported a scale guard, "something is masking our abilities." Kellen hissed with frustration. "Impossible. No species can hide from Saurian senses." But the problems were getting worse. His warriors were chasing false trails. They were jumping at every sound. Some were getting lost in their own defensive positions. The watching galaxy began to notice the strange behavior. Alien commanders who had seemed confident were now confused and angry. "Why are my warriors acting like nervous younglings?" demanded General Vextar. "Our drones are malfunctioning," reported Colonel Thrixon. "But diagnostics show no problems." "My scale guard are reporting impossible sensor readings," added Commander Kellen. Admiral Kim smiled as he watched from the command ship. "The education has begun," he said quietly. Captain Ji-won Park stood beside him. "Sir, the alien commanders are starting to ask questions." "Good," Admiral Kim replied. "Questions mean they are learning. Soon they will understand what they are really fighting." By the end of the second day, all 3 alien teams still controlled their objectives, but they were no longer confident. Their soldiers were tired from chasing ghosts. Their equipment showed signs of stress from constant false alarms. The humans remained invisible, but they were not inactive. In the shadows of the ruined city, Yuri Lim moved like water through broken buildings. She left small signs of human presence: footprints, food wrappers, spent ammunition casings. Each sign told a story that was not quite true. In the forest around Objective Bravo, Wu Jin Kang used his medical knowledge to create confusion. He mixed chemicals that made animals panic and run. He triggered natural rock slides that sounded like weapons fire. He left false trails that led nowhere. Near the mountain caves, the entire human team worked together for the first time. They had spent 2 days learning their enemies. Now they were ready to act. Phase 1 complete, Captain Minho announced quietly. All teams report ready for Phase 2. Understood, replied each team member. The aliens still thought they were winning. They controlled all 3 objectives. They had seen no human soldiers. They believed the war games were nearly over. They had no idea that the real battle was about to begin. The humans had spent 2 days turning the moon itself into a weapon. Now it was time to show the galaxy what Earth soldiers could really do. The hunt was about to become a battle, and the prey was about to become the predator. The sun rose over Kepler 442 Ci like a cold orange eye. The moon's surface was covered with different landscapes. In the north, old city ruins stretched for miles. Broken buildings and empty streets created a maze of concrete and steel. To the south, thick forests grew wild and dark. Mountains rose in the east, their peaks covered with snow. Underground, a network of caves and tunnels connected everything. 3 strategic objectives had been marked on the map. Objective Alpha was in the ruined city center. Objective Bravo sat on a hill in the forest. Objective Charlie was built into the mountain caves. Each team had to capture and hold these points for 72 hours to win. Admiral Hyun-Soo Kim watched from the command ship above. Millions of beings across the galaxy were watching too. This was the biggest military event in Coalition history. Begin the war games, Admiral Kim announced. 12 teams landed on the moon's surface. Each one moved toward the objectives immediately. General Vextar led his apex warriors toward the city ruins. These 8-foot giants ran faster than vehicles. Their plasma weapons glowed bright blue in the morning light. They smashed through concrete walls like paper. Objective Alpha will be ours in 1 hour, Vextar announced over the radio. The apex warriors reached the city center quickly. Enemy teams were already there, but the giants pushed them back with raw power. Their armor, skin stopped all incoming fire. Their plasma cannons destroyed enemy positions with ease. Too easy, laughed one warrior as he threw a tank-sized piece of debris at fleeing enemies. Within 2 hours, the Dominion hegemony controlled Objective Alpha. The building was surrounded by apex warriors. Nothing could get close. Colonel Thrickson took his prime drones toward the forest. These robot soldiers moved in perfect formation. Their sensors could detect enemies through trees and hills. Their shared mind made them impossible to surprise. Calculating optimal approach vector, the drones said together. They reached Objective Bravo just as other teams arrived. A massive battle started. Energy weapons lit up the forest. Trees caught fire. The ground shook from explosions, but the prime drones fought like a single creature with 1,000 bodies. When one drone was destroyed, the others immediately covered its position. They predicted enemy movements before those enemies made them. Victory probability increasing, they reported. Resistance is illogical. By the end of day 1, the Hive Collective held Objective Bravo. Their drones surrounded the hill in perfect defensive positions. Commander Kellen and his scale guard moved toward the mountains. These reptilian warriors became invisible as soon as they left their landing zone. Their heat vision eyes could see enemies from miles away. Their enhanced noses could smell fear and track enemies for days. The humans landed near the caves, reported one scale guard. Their scent is strong. Let them come, Kellen hissed. We will hunt them like the prey animals they are. The scale guard reached Objective Charlie first. They set up hidden positions in the cave entrances. Anyone trying to enter would walk into a trap. Other alien teams tried to take the mountain objective, but the scale guard picked them off one by one. Invisible hunters with perfect senses were impossible to fight in the caves. Objective Charlie secured, Kellen reported. No enemy contact expected. By the end of the first day, 3 alien teams controlled all 3 objectives. Everything was going exactly as predicted, but where were the humans? "Command, this is Vextar," the general called to the watching ships. "We have not seen the human team. Are they even participating?" Admiral Kim watched the tactical display. His human team had landed near the caves 12 hours ago. Since then, they had simply vanished. No radio contact, no visual sightings, no heat signatures. "Perhaps they are hiding," suggested Commander Zilith of the Crystal Dominion. "Humans are known to be cowards. Or maybe they got lost," laughed Princess Zara-El. "Those primitive navigation tools probably failed." The alien commanders shared jokes about the missing humans. They assumed Earth's team was either hiding in fear or too incompetent to find the objectives. They were wrong. Captain Minho and his team had not been hiding. They had been working. For 18 hours straight, So Young Bae had been watching the alien teams. She used simple binoculars and basic recording equipment, but she saw patterns that the aliens did not know they were making. "The Apex Warriors patrol every 2 hours," she whispered into her radio. "Same route every time, they never check the sewers. The prime drones scan in a grid pattern," she continued. "But they only look for active threats. They ignore anything that does not move for more than 10 minutes. The Scale Guard use scent tracking, but they rely on it too much. They do not expect false trails." Hyun Woo-pak had been studying the moon itself. He learned where flash floods happened during storms. He found which cave systems connected to each other. He discovered that local animals moved in predictable patterns. "The rock formations near Objective Charlie are unstable," he reported. "A small explosion in the right place could cause a landslide. The forest animals near Objective Bravo flee when they smell certain chemicals," he added. "I can make those chemicals from our medical supplies." Do Hyun Nam had been moving through the mountains like a ghost. His simple rifle and basic equipment made no electronic signature. He was invisible to alien sensors because he used no advanced technology. "I have clear shots on all 3 objectives," he reported. "Range is long but manageable." Yoonbi Song had been preparing surprises. She turned simple materials into complex traps. Old pipes became pressure bombs. Basic chemicals became smoke screens. Even rocks became weapons when placed correctly. "Explosives, ready," she whispered. "They will never see them coming." The human team was not hiding. They were hunting. On the second day, strange things began to happen. The Apex Warriors at Objective Alpha started hearing noises, footsteps in empty buildings, voices calling for help, weapons firing in the distance. "Investigation team to Sector 7, Vextar ordered. His warriors searched the area. They found nothing. But the noises continued. Warriors began shooting at shadows. They wasted ammunition on false targets. "Sir," reported one warrior, "something is wrong. We keep hearing enemies, but we find nothing." "Stay alert," Vextar commanded. But doubt was growing in his mind. 3 months passed quickly after the meeting at Nexus Prime. Back on Earth, Colonel Soo-jin Choi sat in a dark room deep inside the Pentagon. On the wall, screens showed files of soldiers from around the world. She had been given the most important job of her life: choose the team that would represent humanity in the war games. "Show me the next file," Soo-jin said to her assistant. The screen changed to show a man in Navy SEAL uniform. His name was Do Hyun Nam. The file said he could hit a target from 2 miles away. He had completed over 50 dangerous missions. His teammates called him Ghost because enemies never saw him coming. "Add him to the list," Soo-jin said. For weeks she studied hundreds of files: Army Rangers, Marine Force Recon, Delta Force, Navy SEALs, Earth's best soldiers from every branch. She needed people who could think fast and adapt to anything. Next came Yoonbi Song. She was a marine explosives expert. The file showed her destroying an enemy bunker with materials she found in a junkyard. She could make bombs from household items. "Interesting," Soo-jin muttered. "Very interesting." Woo-jin Kang was different. He was an Army Ranger medic who could also track enemies through any terrain. Once he followed kidnappers for 3 days through a jungle using only broken twigs and footprints. He saved 12 hostages without firing a shot. Yuri Lim made Sujin smile. This Delta Force operator was small and quiet, but her file showed something amazing. She had defeated 20 enemy soldiers in close combat, using only her hands and a combat knife. Her instructors said she moved like water and struck like lightning. The final team had 12 members. Each one was the best at something different. Sujin looked at their photos on her desk. They looked normal. They looked human. The aliens would laugh at them too. Perfect, she whispered. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien forces were preparing differently. They were not worried about Earth's team. They spent their time showing off to each other. On the hegemony homeworld, General Vextar watched his Apex warriors train. These soldiers were 8 feet tall and covered in natural armor. They could run faster than cars and punch through steel walls. Increase the difficulty, Vextar ordered. The training robots attacked harder. The Apex warriors destroyed them easily. Each warrior was genetically perfect. They had no weaknesses. They felt no fear. Sir, said his aide, intelligence reports on the human team. Vextar looked at the files. He saw pictures of normal-looking humans. They were small and soft. Their weapons were simple chemical projectiles. This is what Earth sends against us? Vextar laughed. I could defeat them all myself. He threw the files in the trash. Do not waste my time with these insects. The Hive Collective was also preparing. In their massive space station, millions of prime drones practiced combat sequences. These robots had organic brains but mechanical bodies. They could process information faster than any living thing. Colonel Thrixon watched the training with satisfaction. His drones moved in perfect coordination. Each one knew what the others were thinking. They shared a single mind across thousands of bodies. Calculate success probability against human team, Thrixon ordered. The drones processed the question in milliseconds. Probability of victory, 99.7%. They responded in unison. Excellent, Thrixon clicked. The remaining 0.3% is only because humans might surrender immediately. On the Saurian homeworld, Commander Kellan trained his scale guard in the deep jungles. These reptilian warriors could become invisible to any sensor. Their enhanced senses could detect enemies from miles away. Commander, said one of his soldiers, the human team includes snipers and stealth specialists. Kellan hissed with amusement. Human stealth, he said. They leave scent trails that last for days. Their heat signatures burn like stars. A human trying to hide from a Saurian is like a torch trying to hide from the sun. The war games would be held on Kepler 442c, a moon with many different environments. There were ruined cities, thick forests, high mountains, and underground tunnel systems. 3 strategic points had to be captured and held for 72 hours. The rules were simple. All weapons and tactics were allowed. The only limits were the Galactic Warfare Conventions, no genocide weapons, no planet killers, no mind control devices. Each alien team brought their best equipment. The Apex warriors had plasma cannons that could melt tank armor. The prime drones carried energy, weapons that never missed their targets. The Scale Guard used cloaking devices that made them completely invisible. The Crystal Dominion brought warriors made of living diamond. They could not be hurt by normal weapons. The War Clan sent berserkers who felt no pain and fought until death. The Voidwalkers had soldiers who could teleport instantly across the battlefield. All together, 12 alien teams would compete. Each team had advanced technology that was hundreds of years ahead of human science. Earth's team arrived at the staging area in a simple transport ship. The aliens watched them land with curiosity and amusement. The humans who stepped out looked ordinary. They wore basic camouflage uniforms and carried simple weapons. No energy shields, no plasma guns, no genetic enhancements. Captain Minho An led the human team. He was calm and quiet. His team members spread out and began checking their equipment. They moved efficiently, but without the flash of the alien warriors. Is this a joke? Asked Commander Braxon of the War Clans. Where are their real weapons? Do-hyun Nam was cleaning his rifle. It was a simple projectile weapon that used gunpowder. Compared to plasma cannons, it looked like a toy. Yoonbi Song carried a backpack full of basics. Explosives. The alien teams had grenades that could destroy city blocks. Her bombs looked like firecrackers. Woo Jin Kang had a medical kit and some tracking tools. The alien medics could regrow lost limbs in minutes. His supplies looked like they came from a museum. Yuri Lim wore no armor at all, just cloth and Kevlar. The alien warriors had shields that could stop starship weapons. She looked like she was dressed for a camping trip. The aliens began to feel insulted. General Vexitar approached Captain Minho. "Human," he said, "are you sure this is your elite team? They look like civilians playing soldier." Minho looked up at the 8-foot-tall alien. He showed no fear. "We are ready, General." "Ready to die?" "Perhaps." Vexitar laughed. "My warriors will end this quickly. I almost feel sorry for you." Colonel Thrixon examined the humans with his compound eyes. "Their equipment is primitive," he reported to his drones. "Update victory probability to 99.9%. Commander Kellen watched the humans set up their camp. They did everything slowly and carefully. They checked every piece of equipment twice. They studied maps of the moon's surface. "Look at them," Kellen said to his scale guard. "They move like frightened prey animals. Always looking around, always worried." What the aliens did not see was the real preparation happening. So Young Bae, the team's intelligence specialist, was not just looking at maps. She was studying video, files of every alien team. She watched how they moved, how they fought, how they thought. Hyunwoo Park, the survival expert, was not just checking supplies. He was learning about the moon's environment, the weather patterns, the animal life, the rock formations, everything that could be used as a weapon. The human team spent their time differently than the aliens. While the aliens tested their weapons and showed off their strength, the humans studied their enemies. They all fight the same way their species evolved to fight, So Young told her teammates. The Apex warriors use brute force, the prime drones use perfect coordination, the scale guard use ambush tactics. "And us?" asked Yuri. "We adapt," So Young replied. "That is what humans do best." The night before the war games began, alien commanders held a party. They celebrated their coming victory. They made bets on how quickly they would defeat the humans. General Dao, Vexitar raised his drink. "To an easy victory," he announced. The aliens cheered and laughed. In their minds, the war games were already over. The humans would be eliminated in the first day, maybe the first hour. In their simple barracks, the human team was quiet. They reviewed their plans one more time. They checked their weapons and equipment. They said goodbye messages to their families, back on Earth. Captain Minho looked at his team. 12 ordinary humans with ordinary weapons, against hundreds of genetically perfect, technologically advanced alien warriors. "Any regrets?" he asked. Do-hyun smiled as he loaded his simple rifle. "Sir, the aliens have no idea what they are about to face. They think we are weak because we look weak," Yoonbi added. "They do not understand that looking weak can be a strength." Woo Jin nodded. "Every species in the galaxy evolved to look dangerous. We evolved to look harmless until it was too late." Yuri was sharpening her combat knife. "Tomorrow they learn why Earth has no apex predators anymore," she said quietly. "Because we ate them all." The war games would begin at dawn. Across the galaxy, billions of beings would watch. They expected to see the humans crushed quickly and completely. They had no idea they were about to witness the rise of the most dangerous species in the universe. The species that looked like prey, but hunted like nothing else in existence. The lights in the Great Hall of Nexus Prime Station were bright and cold. Admiral Hyunsoo Kim walked slowly across the metal floor. His black uniform looked simple next to the colorful clothes of the alien visitors. Behind him, Captain Ji-won Park carried a small data pad. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. Today was the day Earth would show its military to the galaxy. Every year, the Galactic Defense Coalition held this meeting. All the big alien powers came to show off their best soldiers. This year, Earth was invited for the first time. "Are you ready, Admiral?" Jiwon asked quietly. Hyun-soo nodded. "We will show them what humans can do." The hall was huge. Thousands of alien beings sat in rows of seats. Some had forearms, others had scales instead of skin. A few looked like giant insects. They all came from different worlds across the galaxy. At the front of the hall, a massive screen showed videos of alien soldiers. Right now, it displayed the Dominion Hegemony's apex warriors. These soldiers were 8 feet tall with thick armor-like skin. They could lift heavy vehicles with their bare hands. General Vextar stood up to speak. He was from the Hegemony. His voice was deep and loud. "These warriors are perfect fighters," he said. "Each one is stronger than 50 normal soldiers. Their skin can stop bullets, they never get tired." The crowd cheered. Many aliens clapped their hands, claws, or tentacles. Next came the Hive Collective. Colonel Thrickson clicked forward on 6 legs. His insect-like head moved as he spoke. "Our prime drones think faster than any organic mind," he said. "They can predict what enemies will do before the enemies know it themselves. Watch." The screen showed robotic soldiers moving in perfect formation. They fought with amazing speed and precision. Every shot hit its target. Every move was calculated. More cheers filled the hall. The Saurian Empire came third. Commander Kellen, a tall reptile with golden scales, showed off his scale guard. These soldiers could become invisible. They could see heat and smell fear from miles away. "Evolution made us perfect hunters," Kellen said with pride. One by one, 12 different alien species showed their best warriors. Each group was more impressive than the last. Some had soldiers who could fly. Others had weapons that could destroy buildings with one shot. A few had warriors who could read minds. Finally, it was Earth's turn. Admiral Hyun-soo walked to the speaking platform. The hall became quiet. All eyes looked at the small human. He seemed tiny compared to the giant aliens around him. "People of the galaxy," Hyun-soo began. His voice was calm and steady. "Earth is honored to be here today. We want to show you our finest soldiers." He pressed a button on his remote. The screen changed to show a video from Earth. It was old footage filmed with simple cameras. The colors were not bright like the alien videos. The video showed human soldiers in green uniforms. They were crawling through mud on their bellies. Their faces were covered in dirt. They moved slowly and carefully through a swamp. The hall was silent for a moment. Then someone started laughing. It was General Vextar. His deep laugh echoed through the hall. "This is a joke, right?" he said. "These creatures are crawling in dirt like worms." Colonel Thrickson clicked his mandibles together. This was how his species laughed. "My larvae train harder than this," he said. "They look like they are playing in mud." More aliens began to laugh. Commander Kellen hissed with amusement. "On my world, we call this behavior prey animal panic," he said. "They crawl because they are afraid to stand up." The video continued. It showed the human soldiers, called Navy SEALs, doing many things. They swam in cold water for hours. They carried heavy packs up mountains. They practiced fighting with simple weapons. "Look at their equipment," laughed Princess Zara-El of the Crystal Dominion. "Those weapons are so primitive they still use chemical explosives." "And their bodies," added General Vextar. "They have no armor skin, no enhanced muscles. They bleed from tiny cuts." Admiral Hyun-soo kept watching the screen. His face showed no emotion. Captain Ji-won stood behind him. Her hands were tight fists, but she said nothing. The video showed SEAL training. The humans ran through obstacle courses. They learned to fight with knives. They practiced medical treatment in the field. Everything looked basic compared to alien technology. "They call these soldiers elite?" asked Commander Braxton of the War Clans. His forearms gestured wildly. "My younglings could defeat 100 of these soft beings." The laughter grew louder. Some aliens were hitting their seats with amusement. Others were making noise that sounded like laughing in their languages. Taemin Lee sat in the Earth delegation section. He was a former Navy SEAL who now worked as a diplomat. His jaw was tight with anger. He had lived through SEAL training. He knew what those crawling humans could really do. The video ended. Admiral Hyun-soo turned to face the crowd. The laughter was still echoing through the hall. "This concludes Earth's presentation," he said simply. General Vextar stood up again. "Admiral Kim," he said, still chuckling, "thank you for the entertainment, but surely you have real soldiers to show us. These mud crawlers cannot be your best warriors. They are our Navy SEALs," Hyun-soo replied. "They are among Earth's finest special forces." The hall erupted in louder laughter. Commander Thrickson clicked rapidly. "Special forces?" he said. "Special? At what, getting dirty?" Princess Zarahel's crystal body glowed brighter with amusement. "Perhaps they are special at hiding from real fighters," she said. Admiral Hyun-soo waited for the noise to die down. Then he spoke again. "If you believe our soldiers are inadequate," he said, "perhaps we could test them." The laughter stopped. Suddenly, General Vexitar's eyes narrowed. "Test them? Against real warriors?" "The coalition war games are in 3 months, Hyun-soo said. "Earth would be honored to participate." The aliens looked at each other. They had never seen such confidence from such a weak-looking species. General Vextar smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Very well, Admiral. Earth can send a team to the war games, but do not expect mercy. Our warriors will show the galaxy the difference between real soldiers and dirt-crawling animals." "We accept," Hyun-soo said simply. As the meeting ended, aliens throughout the hall talked excitedly. They could not wait to see Earth's pathetic soldiers humiliated in front of the entire galaxy. Captain Ji-won walked beside Admiral Hyun-soo as they left the hall. "Sir," she said quietly, "they have no idea what they just agreed to, do they?" "Admiral." Hyun-soo smiled for the first time that day. "No, Captain," he said. "They do not understand humans at all. They think strength is about size and technology. They will learn differently." Min Lee joined them in the corridor. "Admiral," he said, "I request permission to help select the team." "Granted," Hyun-soo replied. "Choose carefully, Taemin. The galaxy is about to learn why humans became the apex predators of Earth." Behind them, alien laughter still echoed from the Great Hall. They laughed at the humans who crawled through mud. They had no idea that those same humans had crawled their way to the top of the food chain on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. The mockery would end in 3 months. Then the real education would begin.